Hello guys, if you like my awesome gaming videos, my programming and web development courses, my editing courses and editing videos, and my tech talks and tech guidance, then you can consider subscribing to my channel and click on this bell icon to stay connected with me all the time. So hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So this is a very important video again, and this is the part 2 of our React Node SQL complete code REST API with integration with the React. And this is part I'm going to talk about how you can update your API using the React applications. As you can see, I have already created the client and it did all the hard work. Like in the screens, I added some product, okay, and put some data to the API. So today I'm going to work with the edit functionality and especially the delete functionality, because other functionality like showing all the product detail in a detail page based on this ID is completed, show all the products, as you can see, show all the products and map each products and show them into the product card, and just consuming those information is also added. So I did all the hard work. So I really hope you guys understand and see what I make, because it really gives me a lot of motivations to make good content for you. So before that, I want to do one easy fix for our API. So if you go to the Postman, make sure you install that Postman, and as I'm using MySql, just make sure you just turn on your XAMPP and Apache and MySQL server. Make sure you turn it on. We need to fix something which I'm going to show you now. So first just run node server.js. okay, so yes, it is completed. Now you can run your API. If you send it to all product reviews, as you can see in the product ID of 1, we don't have any reviews of product ID of 1. So if we go to our localhost PHP management, if you go to the products, and let's go to the products and reviews, and as you can see in the reviews, all the product ID are 3, because product ID number 3 have all the reviews. So if you go to the product ID number 3, you will get all the things. So for that, I need to go back to our product controller, and here, as you can see, it is hard coded. Here I told that if the product ID number 1, then give me all the reviews of that each particular product. But in the database, I have product ID number 3, because if you go to the products, product ID number 3, which is Samsung S21 Ultra, that have all the reviews belonging to those reviews that belong to that product ID. So if you write where product ID number 3, then give me all the information including the review. So if you save it and run our server again, node server.js, and now if you just run this, and now it has, as you can see, it has ID number 3, which is Samsung S21 Ultra, and it has all the reviews, which is array of objects that it gives. But this is hard coded. We don't want to hard code it. We just want to give it as a parameter, suppose ID number of 3 or ID number of 2 or ID number of 1, whichever the user needs. Okay, we just do it, but not hard coded. So we need to fix that. Okay, and if you use find all, it will give you an array of object. As you can see, we have an array, and inside the array we have an object. Inside an object of the product, we have an array of review. So it may be complicated for someone, because you need to, if you want to implement in React, you need to just look through every single object, and inside each product you need to look through every single review. So let's implement it for each particular one product. So use find one. I think it would be better. Okay, instead of find all, you can use find one, and if you use that, let's implement that and let's see what happens. So go there and just get all the reviews. Okay, now it gives us an object. As you can see, it's not an array, it's an object. I hope you can understand it better what I'm meaning, because each object now, because I have only product ID number 3, it is only one product. Okay, and it contains all the reviews and the array of objects of reviews. Okay, so it looks better. So find one gives you one object, and in one object of the product you have array of reviews. So if you use find all, then it will give you all the products and their reviews. If you want that feature, you can implement it, but for the simplicity, I'm just using that. And I don't want to use hard coded, so for that I can use const id is equals to request dot params dot id, and this request params, as you can see, we can get it from this request dot params dot id and store it in the id field. And what I'm gonna do, I need to find the product including all the reviews. I need to find each product which has all the reviews in it. Okay, where id is equals to, which I specified in the URL, and this URL I can use slash whichever id I want, like this way. Okay, so for that I need to get it from the request.params.id, and I'm gonna find it based on that, and this ID is the database ID, and this is the ID that we're gonna pass, so that we don't need to hard code it every time into the code. So this is more professional way how we can do that. Okay, so for that you need to go to our product router. So we are in the backend now, remember that, and here you can use get product reviews. So in the API we have just a normal get product reviews, we need to add ID. So in here we need to pass a dynamic ID, and this is the same ID that you're going to get if we go to product controller and here get product reviews, and this is the ID that we hold, and based on that we're gonna query all this data. So this is very important, so we need to save that thing. So go to product router and save it, and we need to restart our server again, which is node server.js. I know this is a little bit of hectic thing, but this makes your code more dynamic, and this is more better solutions. So if we go to /product/id of 1, it gives nothing. As you can see, we have one array of object of product, one object of the product. As you can, it has a title, price, description, published, and it has a review, and as the review is an array, as you can see we have nothing in it. So it is completely dynamic. It says it has nothing in it. Okay, so you can understand. If we go to the ID number 2, it also has nothing. If we go to the ID number 3, then it says now we can see the product number ID number 3 has all the reviews. So that is the thing we specified here. If you go to the reviews, all the reviews are belonging to product ID number 3. Now if you just refresh it, and as you can see all the thing, rating number 3 based on and rating number 5, all of the thing. So it looks really awesome. So this is the fix that you have. And one more fix is when we just put those review, as you can see in the review controller, we need to put some review. Okay, so for that we need to add some information, and I want to add review at which product. We can specify that ID. Suppose if you go to the post, and here you can write product/add review. I don't want to add review at random product. I want to add review at particular product ID. Suppose product ID number 1 or 2 or 3, whichever. Okay, so this way. So for that I need to include some more code here. So let's get out of our server and clear it, and for that you need to go to the review controller. We are in the review controller here, and here we're gonna add the same thing. Const id is equals to request.params. Make sure it is params, request.params.id, and you can get it from this request object. Okay, by this URL, and here you need to pass this data, and it need to pass it as product_id, and that ID should be the ID that we give. Okay, it will be stored in the database, and this product ID, as you can see, product ID, rating and description would be stored in the review.create. As you can see, we pass this data, and this will create something in the reviews. As you can see in the review we have a product ID, so we need to put that dynamically. Product ID should be whatever we specified, and that ID would be stored, and you can get all this information. So make sure you do that, and after you do that we'll just go to product router, and in the router this is done in the add review. Okay, make sure in the add review you need to put some dynamic information so that we can get it, and this is the same thing that we get if you go to the review controller. In the review controller, when we add it, as you can see we get this information. If we go to suppose product controller, and here at the add review we need to pass that ID, that which ID, product ID information I want to add this review to, and which it is belonging to. And so that's why we need some ID. Suppose ID number of 1 doesn't have any comment, and we need to post some comment on that. Okay, or the review on that. So we need to run our server. If we go to our reviews and products, and as you can see iPhone 12 doesn't have any comment, so we need to let's put some comment on ID number 1. So it is more dynamic way how we can do that. And before that, to run our server, which is node server.js. Okay, and let's put some information, and let's give it 4 stars, and give it a description of 12 is great for gaming, suppose, and give this a star. And suppose it has 2 rating, this rating, and I want to put it in ID number 1 product. This is the product ID number. Okay, and let's just put it, and the product ID would be generated based on that ID that we passed. Okay, and let's put it, and as you can see, and the product ID number is actually the one that we specified, okay, and it has a rating and description. And this is the ID number 4 is the review number, add review. So if we go to the reviews, and as you can see ID number 4, and it is belonging to this ID number 4 rating, which is iPhone 12 is great for gaming, which is based on which is under product ID. If you go to the products, and as you can see product ID 1 has those reviews. So if we go to the now reviews, so get product reviews, get product reviews /1. Now we have, if you need to select get, now we have some review. As you can see, it is not empty. It has an ID number of 4, which is the review ID, and it has a rating of 4 and its description, and which product ID 1, because this is actually product ID 1. We are putting all the ratings, rating description of the reviews inside the product ID 1. So this is the dynamic way how we can get it. Okay, it is not just anything hard coded, it is just a way we want. So it is very important to understand. I hope you guys understand a lot. Now let's implement our edit feature. So for that we need to go to our client. So create another terminal, and here we need to go to do cd client, which is our client, and here and to just npm start to run our client, which is React applications. So our app has run. Now let's go to products, and as you can see all the products are there, and we can go to the detail, and if you go to the edit, it also go to that particular edit page. So it is completely dynamic, and you can also add some information. If we go to add product, you can add some product in it. So let's go to our products and go to our detail. If you go to the detail, it is going to the product /ID of whichever you specified, and then we can edit it. Okay, so let's create our edit page, which is very easy and simple. Just go to the edit screens and go to the edit product. And in the edit product, which is similar, we can do whatever we want, like in the container. This is almost same thing. So in the fragment, just copy every single thing. Okay, let me copy this thing. So it is quite similar as the add product, so you can copy the whole container. So let me copy the whole container here and just paste it in the edit. You can write it edit product later, but in the fragment I'm just pasting it, and here you will write edit, or you can write update product, whichever you write. So if you submit, and it should be named as update handler, and it should be named as update handler, and you need to import it from you need to import container from React Bootstrap, and here to put container. In the container you also need to put form, and you need to put button, all of those things you needed. As you can see, we used button, form and container, all of those things. So you need all of those things from the React Bootstrap to design it. Then we need suppose if you go to the add product, we had title, price, description, and we need to pass that as well, which is important. And make sure you import the use state there as well. So just import use state, and we also need use effect here. And let me import all those state first. We need title, price, description, that is the thing, and that the value we get all of those things using e.target.value in the title page. And if we go to the price field, in the on change we get it using the e.target.price on the price, and whatever we set it, as you can see in the set price, all of those things, set price, set descriptions, it should be passed into the variable, and that is the thing that we're going to render. And this is all the information that we're going to put when we update some information in the API. So in the beginning, what you need to do and check it out if everything is working properly till now. So update handler is not defined. Okay, we need to define it. Update handler. Okay, and it should be an arrow function. Okay, and console.log. Okay, simple console.log. Now I think it will work. If we go to edit page, as you can see, and this field should be filled with the value that we specified. These are the field that we need to fill in using the use effect, so that we can pre-filled all those information, as you can see on this data. Okay, so we're gonna go and fetch those data using use effect. So use effect, you can use it, and you're gonna call this on the once time when the component loads. And here you can use const get data by id. Okay, get data by id, and I'm gonna make sure I did an arrow function here and make sure it is asynchronous because this is the async work. And you can use const data that we're gonna get using await, and we need Axios, and make sure you import Axios and Axios.get. okay, and it should get information. As if you go to the show products, it is you can copy the whole thing and just paste it here. API / products / instead of all products, you need to get the product by its ID. So you can paste say $, second bracket, and ID, and you need to use template string, otherwise you can pass dynamic information here. And because the API is like that, API is actually, if you go to product router, as you can see, you can get one product information. Okay, and you need dynamic ID, and even for the update you need a dynamic ID. If you go to the get one product, and let me go there and get one product information, you need to find it by ID, and this one takes an ID parameter request.params.id. So all of the thing is super important and they are connected. So go and save it, and here as you can see ID is not defined because you need to go to the API / products / ID here. So const ID, and this is the ID that we passed. Okay, this is the ID that we passed, and this should become the same as if you go to the app.js, and if you go to edit any product, you need to pass the dynamic ID, and even if you go to the product detail, you need to pass that kind of dynamic ID. Okay, so you need to do that. So if you go to the edit product and go to the particular ID and get all those data based on it, and you just need to pass this ID, and you use params. Okay, so this is the thing that we want, and based on that ID we're going to pass this information from the backend. Okay, and we're going to name it as set title, and we're going to set the data, whatever you get it from it would be stored in the data variable that we're going to just call data.title, because it will get individual object of the product. Okay, so in that case we don't need to use for loop or any other thing, we can directly access data.title. And we can use set price, which is data.price, similar, and set description, it should be data.description, same all of the thing. And these are the information we set it in the title, whatever you get in the API, and it would be set in the set title, set price, and set description, and it will hold all the information in the title, price, description now. And this is the thing we want, and we need to get all the information. So before that we need to call this get data by ID. Okay, get data by ID, and we need to pass that ID as a dependency, because if the ID changes, if this ID changes or this ID changes, when the component will load all the product from the backend, it will also change based on that ID. So the dependency injection is important. And now we can pass this value in the form. As you can see, the value is title, and value is equal to price, and value is equal to description that we want. And these are the thing, title, price, description would be rendered in the form. So if we go there, as you can see, all the values are coming here. As you can see in the product ID number 1, I get iPhone 12 and this and this and this. So if we go to the product ID number 2, I get iPhone 13, this and this and this. If we go to the product ID number 3, so it is completely dynamic, it will go to the Samsung information, and you can update it. And for that update you need to work with our update handler. So as you can see, so it is doing nothing here, and here you need to use Axios.put. First we get the each product by its ID, then we're going to use Axios.put, and here it is very simply to use update update by put request await, okay, which is Axios.put, and here I'm gonna put some information. Let me copy this thing, and let me copy this thing, API / product. Let's go to our backend. So update, it takes API/product/id. Okay, so very simple. If we go to the edit, we need to go to API/product/id, and we need to pass some data. And these are the data that we should call const data is equals to, and these are the data, and the data is title, and title is equals to title. Okay, just call it like that. And price, it should be coming from the price that we specified, and then we have a description, and it should be coming from the description field. Okay, so we have title, price, description, and we have published is equals to true. Suppose we just keep it true. So these are all the fields that we're going to update it in the API. As you can see, API, we have all this information like title, price, description, published. Okay, and these are the things that we get from this form. So these are the things that we get. As you can see, set price, set title, set description, and it will set it and hold it inside this one. And these are the things that we're gonna update. Okay, and put this data, and this is the data that we passed inside this API. And this is the same logic if we go to our backend product router. If we go to update something, as you can see, update product, and in the update product you will see that just update everything in the requested body that we passed, where id is equals to whichever the user gives. Okay, so for that you need to go to edit one, and we already passed this id that user passed, as you can see, and we just get the information. And in that particular product id we need to pass this data, not everything, because update means that you're going to update only one thing, not everything. So we need to pass some id, which id you want to update. Simple logic, and it is very simple. And then you can use something called another hook, which is const history is equals to use history. This is another hook, and in the hook you can use history dot push, all of those things. Okay, so I'm not going to use it history dot push just here. After you update it, and make sure it is async, it should be asynchronous function. Okay, and history, after it is update is done, let's go to history dot push. And history dot push, you can pass many things. You can pass a state. Okay, you can pass search queries, all of those things. And you can just write path name, and path name can be products. But I'm not going to do it like this way, because I want to keep it simple. Just write slash products. So after you're doing all of those things, it will go to the redirect to slash products page, where I'm going to show you all the products. Okay, let's check it. So first we have the product ID number 3, we have S21 Ultra. So let's give a name of updated, and make sure it is wrong information, and give it updated information. Just click in, and it is updated, but it doesn't redirect us to products page. So let's go to products page, and let's see what happens. Okay, the update is done. Update is done properly, but after the update the problem is that it doesn't go to slash products page. I think we need to use e, and it will prevent something. E dot prevent default. Okay, so we need to, I think we need to use that thing, slash products. And let's try to update this one, product ID number 3, and it is updated. Let's click on update. Oh, okay, now it is working fine. So make sure that if you click on update, it doesn't reload. It just go to the slash products page. So now it's working really fine and superb. So this is the thing that we want to update. And if you go to the detail page, we want to delete it from here as well. So to work with our delete functionality, you don't need to give link like this way. You need to do it a little bit of different way. So let's check our app.js and product/id, where I'm gonna get all the product based on the whatever the user typed. So go to the product detail page, and we already got it. Okay, and we get it by single product. We get all the information by this id, and after do all of those things, we need to delete it. So in the button, we don't need to put it like this way, and I'm gonna put here on click. If we have a property called on click, and it will handle delete functionality for us. So whichever information we want to delete, we can pass some id parameter. and we want to delete something called id that we passed, and this id should be requested parent.id, this id. Okay, so if you put it like this way, you can put some id. Okay, so this is the id we want to delete. Okay, so if it has a function, if you click on click, it will render this function handle delete. So we need to create this function here. So we are handling delete. Okay, we need to just write const handle delete, and handle delete is an arrow function. When I click on this button, handle delete, it will render this, and it takes some id, and based on that id parameter, it will delete something. So you can write and it makes sure it is async as well, await, and we can write Axios dot delete, and you need to get the id, and let me give similar this id that we want to delete. Okay, just copy the same thing and paste it here. Okay, and this should be another template string. Okay, so you're gonna go to the /api/product/id, and this is the id that we want to delete. And if you go to the server.js, and you're gonna go to product router, and for the delete route we have only the id product/id, nothing extra to our product detail page. And here this is the thing that we want to delete it. And after delete, what you're gonna do, you're gonna use history.push, and it should also go to /products. Okay, it will go to the products page, and make sure it is await, and the function is async, known as function. So unexpected use of history, so history is not working in these places. So let's see what's the problem. Okay, we didn't use history is equal to use history. So this is a hook, so we need to call it globally, and now we can use it. Make sure it is working, and now I think it will work. After delete, it will go to /product, so I think it will work really fine. And let's go to a dummy text. As you can see, this one is a dummy information. Let's go to detail. It is not working properly. Let's check it out. Why there is a problem. So it is calling the handle delete functionality. Just copy this thing and give it an arrow function, and now just call it. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's go there. Okay, now it works. So it means that if you don't use this arrow function, it will directly call it when you go to the product detail page. So if we from this all the product, if you go to the detail, it will go to the individual product detail page. So it will directly call this delete, but we don't want it. We want to call it on when I click on this, it will delete. So just click on this, and the $99 product thing, it will be deleted. So delete it. As you can see, now we don't have this, so we have only 4 information now. So the delete functionality working superb and without any hiccups or any problems. So we have completely done the update and delete functionality, as well as we fix our API. As you can see, we can get all the reviews based on that product ID number 1 or ID number 2, and it will check if any product reviews we have based on that product. Okay, so thanks all for watching. I'll be coming with the next video with more awesome content, and especially this API I'm gonna consume and show you how you can implement it. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'll be coming with the next video with more awesome and beautiful content. So till then, take care and bye bye.